Well, what happened initially was I went to a gig at the Globe Theatre in London, and there was a benefit for Reprieve, the charity which fights for the rights of men in Guantanamo and also fights for people on death row. And during that gig, Clive Stafford Smith said that children were also held in Guantanamo. And I was in the audience, standing there thinking, surely not. I was absolutely appalled and shocked. And immediately, as a children's writer, the idea came to me to write a novel called Guantanamo Boy. The title came, the whole idea came, and I went home and began researching the subject of young people in Guantanamo, and was shocked to find that there had been cases of children as young as 12. There was some dispute about how many had been held. Reprieve said there were 20 or more, and the US government at that time said there were a handful, fewer than 10. And the discrepancy in itself was interesting, but what fascinated me more was the fact that this had happened. So I began researching the subject on the internet. There wasn't that much about children as such. There was the case of Omar Khadr, who is still there, and many others who were unnamed. And I began reading more and more about Guantanamo, and as the subject became part of my consciousness, so the story developed in my mind about Khalid and what could possibly happen to him. And although it's fiction, absolute fiction, it is based on true events, and these things did happen to somebody. And although I didn't borrow stories, true stories, because those stories don't belong to me, they belong to the people who went through Guantanamo and who are still there, and I didn't want to steal those stories. I felt free to invent a story of a boy of 15 who was a second-generation Muslim, born in this country, British boy, like many you see wandering around this country, who I thought, how would you react being a Muslim teenage boy after 9/11 and after seeing these men kept like animals, wrapped in orange, tied up, with chains, pulling soldiers guiding them, pulling them along as if they're dogs on a lead. I was horrified by those images, but I'm not Muslim. How would I feel if I was a Muslim teenager watching these images? And that was the genesis, really, and the starting point and the inspiration for the beginning of the story.